everybody. Welcome to Life Uncommon. We are live here in the studios of Plus TV, and we are super excited.
Very excited because we are really live today. We have a very lively group of guests.
Yes, I've been laughing. I have tears in my eyes already from laughing.
Yeah.
So I hope these guys behave good today. But
I don't know if that's going to happen.
So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Andrea Rodriguez.
And I'm Alita Sharp, and we are so glad to have you with us this morning. We are continuing on in our series, UncomMen June. Yeah.
And today's topic is going to be about the power of fathers.
Yes.
So everybody here, even the ones that look like they still have milk in their teeth, they're dads too. And we have some senior ones and junior.
Oh, that's the way you put it. Okay. Senior and junior.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got some great dads in the house with
Yeah.
us this morning, and we're very excited to introduce them to you all. And
Well, let's jump right into introducing our guest for this morning. I'll start here on my right. With Mr. Kerm Timbrell, who is no stranger to us or to Plus TV. So Kerm, welcome back. This is our first time on Life
On Life Uncommon,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're
It's
glad to
great.
have you
guys
here.
are really doing an awesome job. I'm camera shy right now. Thanks to you ladies who brought me on TV.
Kerm here.
I feel like a celebrity.
Well, when you see people that watch you funny, you're just
Yeah.
on your good side.
That's good.
All right, and then Alida, you introduce next to you.
Okay, and we also have with us this morning Mr. Mervyn Boudrum, who is also no stranger to Plus TV, but this is your first time on Life Uncommon, so welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to myself. Good morning. I guess I'm nervous as well, Carmen. I guess being on this show makes you kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this a girl show? No, it's
They're
not. Intimidated. Yeah. But good morning to everyone, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure being here with you guys.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Brian Almendaris to the show. Almendaris. Brian is usually most of the time behind the scenes, but I begged him to come on the scene today. So welcome, Brian.
Well, Andrea, good thing I could come ahead because I don't usually come on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
But for a good cause, So I'm
Yeah.
happy to be on this side of the camera this morning, and
Yeah.
thank you for having me this morning, and shout out to everybody out there.
Yep.
Thank you for being here.
JT.
And we also have Jason Twist with us this morning. Thank you very much for being here. Also no stranger to Plus TV.
Great to be here. And again, senior, not the gray hair fool. Senior and junior. It's good to be here, and we're expecting a great show with you guys.
Yeah. Well, we like to jump right in, and so we've been planning this month for a while, just talking about how we want to, highlight men and uncommon dads. So this would be our Father's Day show where we're celebrating dads, and when we thought about men or fathers that we know, I mean, you guys were on the top of our list.
Definitely on the top
Beside
of the
our
list.
husbands, of course. But you guys are doing such a great job raising your families, and we wanted to hear from you guys. Mervyn and Brian, they're what we call the newer dads.
Yeah.
Brian, your baby is a year and change.
She's gonna be two.
Two already?
In July, just like that.
It
Oh
goes
my
by
goodness.
so fast.
I don't know. Thanks for reminding me.
And then
Yeah.
Mervyn, your girls, you
I
have
have a 3-year-old and I have a 7-month-old
okay.
daughter, both daughters. Wow.
Yeah.
I've expected 2 girls.
Yeah. And JT, the age of your kids.
7, 4, and 1 and be 2 in August.
Okay.
How much more to come?
We asked you that,
Yeah,
Kerm.
exactly.
Put it out there in front of everybody.
And your kids, what are your kids' ages?
I'm 12 and 9. My son just told me this morning his birthday party is not finished.
He's planning, huh?
Yes.
Sounds like Chloe.
You want a 3-day celebration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe's all year long.
All year.
Everybody, I'm going to my party. It's Charlotte's party. My party.
Everybody birthday. Hers.
Yes.
Yeah, she came and she
All
told me
year.
it's my happy birthday.
All year, she loves
Yeah.
it.
So let's ask I guess the first question we could ask, how did becoming a dad change you guys? How did your lives change the day you became a dad? Who wants to jump?
Who wants to start?
Well, I could start.
There you
Go
go.
ahead,
Let's-
Eddie.
It changed on the delivery day.
Oh, okay.
First time being there, you guys, and
Yeah.
again, my wife convinced me I need to be there.
In the room.
In the
The
room.
delivery room.
And that's life.
So you saw everything. Okay.
That's when everything changed in
Yeah.
terms of becoming a dad, and it was amazing. I can't regret not being there.
Okay.
Right? I can't regret just the fact that seeing my son for the first time.
Yeah.
When I see that head popped out. I mean, there was this grin on my face. I want to laugh and cry at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a good change. And then from there, more transformation. Right?
Yeah.
I'll leave these guys to share some of the other changes.
Yeah.
Right? I would
That's
say with you.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
Oh, well, for me, I guess, like he said, no, the moment you realize, this is your child, and
Uh-huh.
the buck stops at you from now on. I mean, it's not like you can run and, give back or return to
Yeah,
everybody. It's like,
yeah.
and those pair of eyes looking up on you, you realize, that they're totally and completely dependent on you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's a very sobering thought. And
Yeah.
so for me, to me, it really bumped up the timeline for a lot of things in my life. I was like, you could, fudge around in life when it's just you. You could just rough it out. But then, when someone is depending on you to get it right,
Yeah.
you need to get it right. So it was a lot sobering for me.
Wow. Wow.
That's good.
That's great.
I would say for me, the changing process is still happening.
Okay.
The biggest change I would say is me. I realized my desperate need for God. Parenting is hard, and all the things that I will never do this and I will never do that, and then when you see those things coming up in your heart and coming up in your life, and I'm like, where is that coming from? And then realizing how much I need God. I need God to change me so that I don't pass on hurts to my kids. I don't pass on different things to my girls. These guys know my daughter Chloe, and she is intense. She is hyper. She's totally opposite my personality, and so the continual need of grace from God and wisdom from God to change that. He changed me so that I can impart truth and life into her.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, for me,
Seeing your dad.
I used to wonder, but I come out legal here. But I used to wonder if I would ever be able to have kids. There was always that fear and concern, like, will I be able to have a kid, And so when my wife told me she was pregnant, I'm like, man, that was like super, that's a breakthrough.
Have to be a breakthrough.
I feel like a man, I really feel like a man, and honestly, it was a miracle for me, and just like, my wife is pregnant, I can be a dad, like, because there's a lot of guys who can have kids, there's a lot of women
That's
who can
true.
have kids.
That's true. Yeah.
And here, I can have a child, like, whoa, I was
Yeah.
just blown away at that, like, it was a miracle. I just really was grateful to God for that. And, I was there in the delivery room like these guys, and just welcome my daughter. She was the first one, her little pink cheeks, I still remember. she was pink like a custard apple, and just, I was the first one to say, welcome to the world, Bethany, that's her name. And to me, that is special, because a lot of our moms today don't have dads in the delivery room.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
it breaks
true.
our hearts. I'm sure all of us, I know we all feel the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where's daddy?
Yeah.
No daddy to say welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a miracle for us. I mean,
Yeah.
been there with our kids.
It's amazing. I know for like it's when I was in a delivery room when my daughter Chloe came, and first I realized I'm stronger than I thought, because I don't like blood. I always felt I was gonna pass out, right? And I stood there and she came up, but what was always been in my mind, I remember she came out, she was bawling and crying. Babies do that when they were crying, and then as I put my hands on her, she calmed down and stopped. And when I take my hands off, she would bawl. And so for them, while they were cleaning her up, I just kept my hands on her. And she just stayed calm the entire time. And to this day, she loved just coming and just laying on me and just having me hold her, right? And so that will forever be in my mind.
There's a bond
There's a bond
Definitely.
there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can I
Jump in.
Yeah, please jump in.
Brian
Yeah,
is
I'll
excited
just,
again.
no,
Wants more babies.
anybody who knows me
Hey,
know
well, no
that.
wife from a lady said, please, God, don't do nothing bad.
I could see my wife holding her breath like,
I know, right?
please don't embarrass us.
And she's watching.
I know
she's
she is.
watching. Yeah.
Hi, babe. I promise I'll not get me in trouble. No, but I mean,
It's not trouble.
yeah, but for me especially, I know it's important to bond with your child even before your child is born.
That's
And so,
right.
because I knew, especially for my daughter, she knew my voice immediately.
Yes.
So the second I spoke to her, I mean, she just came out and she was crying and all that. But the second I was like, "Hey, what's wrong, Brianna?" And she immediately just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so that's what you look like."
Yeah.
I mean, she immediately linked the face with
Yes,
the voice, like
yes.
she knew.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I think it's very important for us to bond with our child, especially the father bond, because I know even up to now, anybody who knows me know that I am a 2-year-old when my daughter is around. Same way, my daughter excites me. She brings out the kid in me all over again because I love her with everything. I can't explain how much I can express that to her, you know. And so for me, it changed me and it made me a lot more light because I know a lot of people know I'm kind of no nonsense type, but
Yeah.
I can be intense at times. But for my little girl, I mean, it just completely just melts me. And so that for me is how it really changed me, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
So what kind of lessons have you learned from being a father? Life lessons or whatever?
I think number one for me is that children are unpredictable.
Yeah.
Life is unpredictable. So the rule book is fine, but be prepared. Be prepared to, go a bit off script and to be flexible because children have a way of writing their own book.
Yes.
And so just the ability to be able to adjust the things on the fly and don't be so set on what you want to do because children have their own way of making life a whole new thing, and it's a good thing. It's a very good thing because I mean, you can, especially when you're growing up, you have this idea of what you want your family to be and how you want things to be, but then when it happens you realize it's a life of its own and you can't control it, so allow it to be. And then and so it becomes a new life. It becomes a new life, and if you let that freshness take over, it transforms into something new, and it's so much better than what you could have planned. And so just let it happen, no?
It's good.
Lessons, we always learn.
Yeah.
We always learning new lessons. I mean, gosh, there's so much. I don't know where to start, but it's a lot, right? And I was just thinking about somebody was asking me, who more hyper than, you got it right. I mean, I told a person, man, Samuel had my wife's belly going here, there, in front of the room.
He was busy from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. I know what that little guy would be when he popped out, man. And so there's so much, man. There's so much, and again, we just have to listen to God's heart as we go along raising our kids and just being there for them. I mean, one of the things that stuck out to me, I want to watch that movie Courageous again and again and again because when I think about just the fact that we could just lose our kids in an instant. I mean, not only that, but time go by so fast. Sometimes I look at my little Isaiah and I say, gosh, I just got to hold this guy. There'll be a time when you don't even want me to hold him, right? And so just being there and just make sure that we are in tune. Being there not just mean that you're there and you're on your cell phone, but being there with your kids and just learning from them, being there and hearing from them and getting their attention. That's what we need to do as dads, right? As fathers, and just to build that security. Men, it's our role. It's our role as dads. Just be there.
I think one of the biggest thing for me that and like Jay said, there's so much, and so I'm like here thinking, okay, we want life lessons, but but the reality is, and this is sobering for me, that my kids, like I'm replicating who I am. My kids, like I have the ability and I have the opportunity to impart values and truth into my kids, and the way they interpret the world will be how we help them interpret the world, and how important that is for us to get proper perspective of the things that's happening in life, because the way we perceive things will be how we impart to our kids. And so God's been challenging my wife and I on that make sure that we are properly interpreting the things that we're going through, the challenges we face. How do we view obstacles? Because how we view that will be how we impart that to our kids, and that will be how our kids view the world and go into the world. And I want my kids to be strong. I want them to be courageous. I want them to be bold. I don't want them to back down from stuff. So it's forced me to have to step up, even when I want to shy back, even when even when I want to cower. It forced me to. I gotta deal with this. I gotta confront myself, because I will teach my girls how to deal with stuff like this in life, right? And that's been a hard road. I mean, yesterday I was walking and just praying over some stuff. I say, God, I don't want to struggle in these areas, because I don't want my girls to struggle. I don't want my girls to get a man who struggles. So I gotta make sure that I get these things nailed down in my life, right? And so I said that I think that's the biggest thing God is teaching me.
You know,
that's good. my kids have really changed me a lot. I mean, they've helped me to understand the world a whole lot more. Because I often think, what if I wasn't there for Bethany and Jeremiah? What would their lives have become, even to this stage? You know, and I think so many times from a place of brokenness, the amount of kids in our society today that does not have daddy anymore. Or even when the dad feels that, you know, it's okay to go and have a little girl on the side and sleep around and satisfy his own pleasures. How much he's not really thinking about how important that child is to him. He may say, I love my daughter, I love my son, but that's not truly demonstrated by the fact that you can actually make a choice to go and sleep with somebody else and totally disregard the value of your marital relationship. You know? And as I've thought over the years, and I looked at that, I realized some people will say, I love my kids, but they live a reckless life. If we live a reckless life, we don't truly love our kids. Because I've played it out, and I've fast forward that thing in my own mind and see, you know what?
What if?
If I was different and I was the kind of guy who wanted to be sleeping around, truly it means to me that I do not really love my kids. I don't love my kids, because I could care less about that family structure. And you ladies will know that the best way to show your kids you love them is to love their mom. Love their mom. If you don't love the mom, you don't love the kids. You know? And so I want to challenge the guys watching us today. I mean, I know.
Yes, man.
Please.
Listen, not only fathers, but one of the things I to drop from, but graduation. Father's Day, it's one of the times that I believe it brings a lot of sorrow. Because graduation a very important, vital time in a kid life. That is not there. And then Father's Day, you know, like the mix of emotion, you know. My dad really did that, so I honor.
So true.
You know, I just want to show that in, because
we face that all the time, because we would ask people on Facebook, friends, post something about your dad. Share with us about your husband. Zero. Zilch. Nothing.
Because there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Right.
Sometimes, in all humility, we push people, and people try to be humble enough to say, well, I'll find the positive things. But the dads have failed, and it's true. And we're going to be point blank about it, because our heart is to help the men of our country to see we've got to shift something.
Well,
turn around.
Got a break.
Okay, sorry. We're getting excited. We're getting excited.
I said it, man, to get riled up. Alright, I don't get this thing now 2 times. Alright, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back, guys. So don't go anywhere. Not even think to change the channel. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. I win a prize.
A
Here are some latest samples from Roots and Honors.
Just a glimpse of His glory, just a hint of majesty.
Lord, be my hero, my hero. Lord, be my hero, my hero. Come and be my light, my darkest side. Life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. Oh, it's a celebration. Swing balla bing balla billing billing. Swing balla bing balla billing billing. Swing balla bing balla billing billing. We see them giants fall. Swing balla bing balla billing billing. Swing balla bing balla billing billing. Put your hands up, Billies. We believe in Billies. Put your hands up, Billies. We believe in Billies. Put your hands up, Billies. We believe in Billies. Raise your flags up and we will love my sweet Billies.
From the company who brought you Buendia freeze-dried coffee, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is made in Colombia, considered among the finest coffee regions around the world. Naturally freeze-dried, Grace 100% pure Colombian coffee is exposed to less heat than other coffee brands to preserve the flavor and aroma to make the perfectly convenient cup of coffee you deserve. Have a buenos dias with Grace.
Recipes, go to gracerecipes.com. It's time for Grace. Grace, bringing good taste to life. Looking for quick and easy baking? Try Grace Baking Powder. It comes in a convenient 10-gram packet. Grace Baking Powder. Great for my pancakes, waffles, fry jack, flour tortillas, muffins, waffles. Wow! How quick and easy. Grace Baking Powder. So convenient, easy to store. You love it. It's good enough and fresh whenever you need it. Another fine product brought to you by Grace. For recipes, go to gracerecipes.com. It's time for Grace. Grace, bringing good taste to life.
Welcome back to Life Uncommon. We are live here in the studio at Plus TV, and we have an incredible panel of men fathers with us this morning. So if you've been watching, then you know we're having a powerful discussion.
I got 2 texts already.
Already, yeah, I got one. So it's just amazing to me to have all 4 of you here and to hear your perspectives on what it's like being a father. You know, we have a phone call already?
Got some viewers out there.
Yeah. There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
To the sisters and brothers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to see men trying to live the way that God desires for us to live.
Sorry.
Indeed, it is a blessing in this time that we live to see men who are not afraid to come publicly and say that God is the person that directs their path.
Yes.
That, brothers, I want to applaud you and say keep up the good job. I want to share something real quick with you all about the name of the show, Life Uncommon. That's a beautiful title. And the reason it is a beautiful title, because life, as we were taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, teaches us that life is an activity in harmony with the nature that life was created in. For example, we cannot put a tree in the river because that is not the nature for the tree to live. If the tree goes in the river, it will die. I have never seen a cat barking because it is not the nature of the cat. I have never seen a dog meowing because the nature of the dog is to bark. Well, what is the nature of man? And when I say man, I mean man and woman. The nature of the man, according to the Bible, is righteousness. And so we must learn to live righteously. If we do not learn to live righteously, then we are not experiencing a life. And the term uncommon, because it is uncommon in this time that we are living in, to see people submitting to God and trying to do His will in this time. There are so many challenges facing us as a nation and as a people that we do not realize the need and the importance to submit to God and do the will of God in this time.
Yeah.
There's so many distractions.
That's true.
For both sexes,
yes,
the male and the female, that it is next to impossible for us to remain faithful on this journey to God.
Yeah.
Because, brothers and sisters, that is the journey that you guys are on. A journey to God.
Yeah.
A journey to meet with God.
That's it.
A journey to become one with God.
Yeah, that's
a journey to manifest God in your life.
Yeah, that's right.
So I applaud the effort. Thanks. And I want to say to the brothers that a father is one who further. A father is one who further the plans and the life for his children. What do I mean when I say a father is one who further the life of his child? I mean that as men, we are supposed to be provider, protector, because that is what a father does.
Yeah,
he provides
right.
for his wife.
Yeah.
He provides for his family. If he is not a provider, then he is not a good father. If he is not a protector, he is not a good father. We as men must realize that we are or should be, as Paul said, Christ should be our head, and we must be the head of the female, of the woman, and the woman must be the head of the child. A father should not be one who should instill the discipline. That role, according to God, is given to the woman. We as men should be the person who sets the spiritual foundation that our family can build upon. And if we are not building a spiritual foundation, because most of the time we live in a society that promotes material things, and so most of the time we build materially for our children, but we do not give them a spiritual foundation, a moral base that they can now follow and good example. I don't want to take up too much time. So I'll leave you all at that this morning, but again, I applaud the effort for trying to reach our people and to show our people the need for being a better example.
Thank you.
I came with the words of peace. Peace be unto you all.
Thank you for sharing all those thoughts with us.
Just one thing, if I can, just one thing Nicola said. Very wonderful, well thought out, put together words, but in terms of the discipline aspect, I think both parents.
Right, that's true. That's true.
I agree.
That's true. I agree with that. Yeah.
I can't discipline my kids on my own.
Right. Right. I need. Yeah. Well, and I think it was great. Some of the things that the caller touched on, and I think Murph had made mention to earlier. we know that it's important for fathers to help with the child's behavior, but it's also important for a father to teach a child values. And you kind of we're going that direction a little bit earlier. Let's talk a little bit more about that as well. How do you teach your children values, and what kind of values do you think are important for your children to learn?
I could go first on this one.
Okay.
I say I go first because it's something very close to my heart, right?
Okay.
I believe that. I was just speaking with my wife this morning. I was talking about values for a young woman, and I was saying that really the only thing that a young woman can hold true to herself is her own value and her self-worth, and if that is not instilled properly at birth and throughout her upbringing, then she seeks that affirmation not from the father who should have given her the proper perspective, but she keeps seeking that from other men who may take advantage of that and hold that as a means of holding it over their heads and saying, I am a person that I can manipulate you into doing things for me while I let go bits and pieces of what you want to hear and what you want to feel when I want something. And that is not true, and that is not how God intended it. No, and I have come to the point that women genuinely seek Jesus in a man. I mean, if you think about the qualities of Christ, who was Christ? He was loving, he was trustworthy, but he was also a defender and a protector. He knew how to get angry but still calm, and he could express his feelings in a way that you didn't have to be afraid of him, but you still understood what he wanted to say and what he wanted to express, right? And I truly feel that the closer I draw to Christ, the better a man that I become, and the better man I am, the better man I can be to my wife and to my child. And so that is the way that I see it. When I move forward in life, I'm saying the better I can be and the closer I can draw to Christ, the better of a man I can be to my wife and to my child. And that is how I instill values properly, by example, not by just saying, but by showing.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Well, I think that that's a loaded question.
It is.
Very loaded question. There's so much to teach our kids. So I can understand, and my heart goes out so much for the kids who don't have daddy there. I really want to challenge our men to rethink what you're doing. Rethink those choices that does not reflect your utmost commitment to your family, because the kids need us. They need us, you know. And I once again, I feel that. I mean, jeez, I try to teach my kids how to work, how to relate to people, how to relate to each other, how we relate as a family. This is a loaded question.
Yes, it is.
It's a full-time job. I can retire and just that alone.
But so many people don't realize it's a full-time job. You know,
let me check this quickly. When my wife got pregnant, she was working, I was working. And I begged my wife to resign. Whenever our child born, please resign. Because we were looking in the society today and all of the dramas that was taking place. When I look at the news and I mean, these kids got molested. It's like, what? Not my kids. I'm sorry. So I begged my wife. And that was one of the radical decisions we had to make. If we were going to say we're committed to family. We push money aside, professional career aside, everything aside. My wife was doing very well in her career. She worked for immigration, processing passport. She was going up the ladder. But the ladder wasn't important. The most important ladder that came was the kids. You know? And so we talked about it, and my wife resigned. And you don't want to see a woman who's passionate about
She's
kids.
a great mother.
She would kill me. I'd be dead meat. Don't mess with her kids. Don't mess with those kids. And so that's what I'm saying. It's a loaded question. You know? But our nation deserves both parents in the home.
I agree 100%.
Sorry, Jay.
I mean, right in line, but the values, right? I mean, I was just thinking outside of us as fathers and what these kids are getting out there, right? And I teach at our church, the kids' church, some boys, and I was just explaining to them some of the things that, you know, it dawned on me just to really explain to these kids what I see other kids getting at their house, right? You know, and what are not values, what are not things that will help them in their upbringing. I was thinking about you know, the movies, the songs that they listen to.
Yeah.
That,
Right,
you know,
right.
At home. And I was telling them, you know, I explained to them what rated PG means.
I think there's a call.
There's a call
Okay,
coming
sorry.
in. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to give my opinion on that father and mother rearing their children. I think in everything is cooperation. Father have disagreement, even rearing your child. Sometimes the father is disagreeing with you are disagreeing with him. So it's a unity thing.
Yeah. Right.
That's right.
Yeah? That's what I believe.
Yes.
That's very good.
All right,
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's an exploded statement.
Yeah. Well,
let's hear from Marvin about the value.
No, well, they've actually wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. Right?
Okay.
But and I learned a lot from Jay. I learned a lot from Kerm. I learned a lot from the men that are seniors, right? But one of the things is surrounding yourself with men. First of all, we have to get the values.
Yes.
Not all of us come from good backgrounds. Not all of us come from strong parental background. I was blessed to have both parents in the house, but his dad wasn't in his life, and so he wasn't able to meet some needs that I had in my life, and so God has surrounded me with other men that has imparted those values into my life. So I would say that's one of the first thing I try to pass on to my kids, that hey, you need to surround yourself with quality people. And so I introduce my kids to my friends. I introduce them to, like, I mean, one of the things I know Kerm as a man of faith, and so we always talk about that, right? Ruth and I always talk about that. We always talk about Jay. Jay is a servant. Jay will go all the way. Jay is a compassionate guy. I mean, there was a time that we were struggling. We didn't have our vehicle up, and Jay just called, hey, I'll be out of town. I know legacy is up. You'll need a vehicle. Use my vehicle. So I make sure that I celebrate those things with my kids to say, hey, this is what our friends did. This is how we need to operate. And I said something here, one of the things that if you're around me, when I correct my daughter, especially Chloe, you'll see I always use these words. We always do this. We never do this. As a family, we take care of our friends. I say we because it's helped her to realize it's not just, we're not putting a rule on her that applies to her, but not us. And then we model that by making sure that we are, as parents, that we are doing those things, that we serve our friends, that we cover our friends, we protect our friends and stuff like that. And so that's one of the ways I try to impart values into my kids, that by talking to them about it, but also demonstrating it to them in the choices that we make.
I want to read a line from an article that spurred on this question, and it says, great fathers help pass on values to their children rather than leaving them valueless in a world where values seem to shift with the sands of time.
Yes.
And I thought that was such a profound sentence right there. And so it's very important for us to be able to pass on values to our children. Good values. Good, because we pass it on, how do you say, purposefully, or what are the opposite of purpose? Yes, by default.
By default. That's a good.
Which one are we going to do? But we have to take a break. Sorry, Jade. I just get the signal again. We're gonna take a break again. We'll be right back.
Desde Colombia y de la compañía que produjo Café Buen Día, presentamos Gries 100% puro café colombiano, elaborado en una de las mejores regiones cafetaleras del mundo. Gries 100% puro café colombiano es liofilizado para mantener y preservar el delicado sabor y aroma del puro café colombiano. Grease 100% puro café colombiano, la combinación perfecta para la taza de café que solo tú mereces. Buenos días con Grease, 100% puro café colombiano.
Para recetas, visita gracerecetas.com. Es el momento para Grace.
Good morning, everybody. I was like about to say good afternoon. We are live here in the studios of Plus TV. If you're just joining us, we are here with 4 amazing uncommon dads, as we are featuring men throughout this month of June. We're calling June UncomMen June because we realize that there is a need for this type of discussion, because most of the time, like I said last week in our show, men usually hit the news because they're either dead, they killed somebody, they beat their wives, molest somebody. Most of it is very negative, and you always hear men that dog, men this, men that, and we decided that we want to change that. We want to showcase and highlight men that we know are uncommon. They're different caliber of men. And so with us we have this morning Karim Timbrell, Mervyn Boudram, Brian Almendaris, and Jason Twist. They all have children. Mervyn have 2, Brian have 1, JT he has 3, and Karim has 2.
He
might go to 3, but
I'm still in fit.
I wanted to go back. I wanted to go. Shirley, I hope I hear you. I wanted to jump into what Jason was talking about during the break. About the values that we gain from the what we call entertainment and what our kids are being exposed to, Jay.
First, I want to say that uncommon, we're not common.
That's
like
right.
common law.
Right. Yeah.
The common law is out there. It's so common, right?
Yeah.
Uncommon, you guys, and it's awesome. But I was sharing before we went to the break, man, that I had these kids, these boys with me, and I was telling them, and sharing with them about what the different code for the movies and different things represent, right? PG for parental guidance, rated R, restricted, that's me, don't go there. It's not for you to watch, general for the general audience. And I wonder, and I was thinking, how many of these kids, their parents sit down with them to explain with them these things, what they're permitted to watch, and just the fact that the media is discipling our kids, the movies, they're putting value, they're giving their own value, or how to live their lives and whatever. But it just dawned on me to just share that with them, and really and truly, you guys, there's so many homes you could go to, and you will just take a peek in there and see what the kids are watching on the TV.
And Jay, no, I was going to say, and in this, life gets busy, right, and life gets intense, and it's so easy. I mean, my wife and I, we battle with this. It's so easy to put on a show, let the kids watch the show, then you're getting stuff done in the house, and I constantly have Chloe's been on watching shows too much, and we have a schedule that she follows. You need to be doing some art. Chloe, you need to go in the yard, play, she has Chloe's 3 years old. I mean,
but they start younger and younger in front of the television.
That's why I wanted to say it, because you're talking, people would think that she's, maybe older, teens or, but you have to start younger.
My wife my wife is artistic, so Chloe loves cooking, and so what my wife did is made this stove out of cardboard box, and so Chloe, go play with your stove, go make something for daddy, and she lights up, so she will put the show aside, she will spend hours just playing that, and she would come,
Chloe's kitchen.
Chloe's kitchen, right? Oh, Daddy, do you want to eat some? And I mean, and even that, sometimes I'm in the busy thick of work, and then Chloe, yes. So she would come in, and then I have to tell myself, no, I need to take note. And a friend actually told me this. He said back in the days, family, when they had farms and everything, Dad used to be home working, and kids are there, and the whole family is involved in the process. And in this day and age, because Dad goes to work all day, and comes back, they don't interact as much with the kids. And I felt challenged on that in my work day, I need to allow my daughter still can come into the office. Like yesterday was very wonderful. She came into the office, Daddy, Mommy sent some mangoes for you, and she put it on the counter, and I said, thank you very much, Chloe. You're welcome. And she walked out. And I need to make provision for that, because it's imparting something into her life. It's imparting values into her. So
she's important. But I need to say this because the show they go very fast.
See, I'll try to jump in
sometimes, right? Of time, but I want to say that I really enjoy my family. I don't need to do anything else. I don't need an next woman, so I want the girls to hear. I don't need an next woman.
That's right.
I'm not interested, not at all. No other woman. Because for me, my wife and my kids, when we hang out, that is so much fun. Like, even up to this day, guys, one of our big fight right now is the kids want to sleep in our room. And sometimes we do it. Come in. Come sleep with us. I mean, they slept with us probably whole of last week. I just had to kick them out. So, hey, give me a night at least. And then sometimes we will sleep on the floor. We're passionate about this. They have it all lined up. But we enjoy that. Sometimes we go on family outings. 4 of us, we locked up. And it's beautiful. We don't have to cheat. We don't have to have an ex-woman.
You're really serious about this thing, a big wedding band.
I see that.
Bright
so
and
everybody knows.
Women still don't respect your band.
That's true.
Tell them.
That's true.
Chill.
That's true.
I'm set. And so I just want to say to the guys out there, I mean, we come from a machismo culture where it's like, if you have all these girls, you're cool. But I want to say out with that system, and we want to bring something new. So people understand, family is the cool thing to do. I mean, when you look at the vast of wealth in the life of your kids, just goodness gracious, I mean, what else could we ask for? Yet today there's so much selfishness where it's like, well, we see the girls and we're like chasing after them because we can't contain ourselves. We gotta rise higher. We gotta rise higher, and it breaks my heart to see, as a nation, we have so many awesome kids, but their lives have been destroyed because mommy and daddy is not there. Mommy and daddy is fighting. Mommy and daddy has a personal war. They're not thinking how this is going to affect the kids. We can't see, for some reason, like the devil blinds us. We can't see this is going to affect the kids. And then the kids shut down, and then they become all kind of different stuff that, well, how did they get like this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's so much value in the kids that we have. It's worth pushing away that other girl or guy or whoever it is who try to come in and invade family. This family is awesome. So.
Brian, you're quiet. Jump in.
No, I try a lot to just listen and observe first, right? But I mean, one thing I was gonna touch on was because it's in my domain, the era of music, man. I really struggle with the music that young people are gravitating towards these days. And I mean, we're in one of the little taxi vans going home the other day, and I mean, I was in there with my wife and my daughter, and I mean, I was sitting beside this young man. He could have been maybe nothing more than 13. And the kind of filth that's coming from his phone, and he's like, there, and the filth that, I mean, I felt uncomfortable. And I'm a grown man with a wife. I felt violated almost after listening to some of the stuff that, and it's become the norm for young people. Like, I mean, like, that's what we listen to, and it's fine. I mean, that's what's popular nowadays. And I'm saying, man, any person to go with the flow, you need somebody who would be able to stand and go against the grain and say, yo, enough is enough. I mean, this stuff is terrible. I mean, how does it sell? And we are, our young people are buying into this system, and and then we wonder why society is like this, where, you know, Scott always gives the statistics that 60% of the young people in the Caribbean don't know who their father is, and half would never know. And when I listen to statistics like that, it hurts my heart, because I'm thinking, I mean, how does God feels about this when he has designed a perfect system that everyone should be within the covering and of a family and of a father, that they could be loved and protected and defended. And then this whole system that is teaching me to as many girls that I want I could get, and then building the nation, so to speak. But then we find so much of these fatherless young men, and these young ladies don't know how much they're worth, and they're giving away themselves for little of nothing, because they've never had nobody to show them. They never have a father to pull them up on their lap and say, hey, cover up, that's not how you dress. You know, because you know, I mean, when it comes to that, I mean, my daughter is nowhere near that. I mean, she's going on 2, but I'm looking at so many wrong examples, and I'm saying that
I buy my daughter clothes.
But Brian, you will notice that, like I was telling Alida, Zaira is 5, and I struggled finding shorts for her at 5 because it's booty shorts. And I'm like, why on earth do I need to struggle and look so hard to find these?
Get your sewing machine.
And I think so many people don't realize how important it is. I can remember not leaving the house because my father would say, you are not leaving the house like that. You know, and I had to go change my clothes. You know, and I think that's part of the teaching the values. You know,
it's important for us.
Not true.
What I was gonna say, my wife, and I celebrate my wife because she's so strong on those points. When we got married, I never really understood it at first, and then she helped me to see. But one of the things she does in Chloe, every time she's finished changing, she would go and show daddy. So Chloe will come and, daddy, look at me, look at my shirt, look at my hair. And I first my initial instinct was like, oh, you're teaching her to be materialistic about her look. Then God gave me the revelation, as a father, I am the one to bless that, bless your beauty, bless the way you dress, bless the way. And so we started like, oh, that's a wonderful dress, oh, you look beautiful, your hair is great, and babe, we need to change that pants. She's stretching. She's getting taller, you know.
That's a good point.
You guys, I don't want us to end this show without talking a little bit about what do we do for those who are watching this show that don't have a father figure in their lives. Or we might have single moms saying, man, you know, I don't have the dad doesn't want to be involved. I don't want us to kind of not touch on that. So I know it's very important to mentor. So great dads, like I was looking at my list and just smiling because I had a list of like 10 things that makes a great dad.
There was no way we would get to all of them.
But Alida, if you notice, they touched on almost all of the things that we had on here. But it just shows the quality of men that you are, because you touched on it without us asking. But one of the things that I was reading that they said they're asking dads to mentor those who don't have a dad. And I know you guys already do a lot of mentoring, but maybe we could talk a little bit about how powerful that is for those.
I think it's important for the people who are dads, who see the value, who watch the news. I think the news is a great motivator when you see, man, I mean, all these crimes, murders, because we have an angry population. And anger breeds from dishonor. That's what breeds the anger. When you dishonor your child, like Marvin was saying, you drive them away. I don't have time for you. Yeah, you're too stupid. Or curse the kids or whatever. That breeds dishonor. So we need men and women, so just men and women, who would take on the role of reaching out beyond the four walls of their homes to identify kids who they can assist. You know, we just had some guys came in and took about 60 boys from Southside Belize City and just imparted into them, you know, just loving on them. So we need more of that kind of activity, and I pray that the government would have a budget for stuff like that. Where we can have people helping these boys and girls of how to find themselves, how to be free from the hurts. There's so many hurts. Anger, you understand, in the life of these kids that don't deserve that. So we're really appealing to those who our dads and moms to reach out, because our nation is in desperate need, you know, for fatherhood and motherhood and parental guidance. And so let us reach out. If we're going somewhere for the weekend, man, invite somebody. Let's go, you know.
Yeah.
Take somebody
Yeah.
along, or see how we can create activities and events to be able to reach out. But at the end of the day, man, we really need to challenge the dads to be good dads. To put away selfishness.
Right.
There's still time. There's still time to get your act together.
Fix it, man. You can fix it.
You know, we are a fatherless nation, you guys, and the thing is that God is the father to the fatherless, the husband to the widow. And it's true, man, we have to be able to help some of these young kids coming up. You know, their dads might just give them the best that they know how to do so at the time. But they could be different by us, you know, getting involved in their lives, being a father to the fatherless, being a spiritual uncle, you know, a spiritual big brother or something like that, you know. But just to help these kids, man, we don't know how far a word of encouragement, what you say, taking on these guys, you know, could go. Right? We don't want the central prison to continue to rise up in numbers.
Right.
So many are for men.
Yeah.
I heard recently, I think I was watching the last week's show with, when the guys from West Lakewood came in.
Yes.
And the guy shared something. He said, and I grabbed that, man. He said, no, he was struggling with drugs and smoking and all that. And his dad didn't know, and his dad made a statement and just said, hey man, son, I'm so glad you're not like those kids who are and just the fact that a father spoke those words, it pulled him higher. And I
changed his behavior.
He quit. And he quit.
Changed.
And I realized the power of words that a father carried, the blessing of the father, and it's important to speak words of life. And many times we won't, I mean, for me, we're busy, we're doing a lot, and we can't mentor everybody. But the ones that God brings in our circle, speak life. Speak life. And I did that yesterday. I had an opportunity to do that. I had an individual that was making some stupid choices, and I sat him down. And I'm not a firm person in that sense of I can be very chilled, you know, when it comes to. I'm just like, I don't know. I can be chilled, right?
I don't think you're not convinced yet.
But I told my wife, well, in certain situations, I told my wife, babe, I really don't know how to address this area, but I need God's grace. I went into that, and I was very firm with the guy, and I said, I don't know this guy. I said, the person that I know does this, and that action that you're doing is not consistent with who I know you to be, and I don't want to know that guy. And I saw how this guy countenance changed. I saw how he started to tear up. I mean, and he went back and started to do what he was supposed to do, and he made the adjustment. And I realized that sometimes all we need to do is speak life into people's life and call them higher. This is who I see you as. I'm not seeing this mess and the stupid choices that you're making. This is who I mean, our pastor Scott always does that to me. He said, Mervin, I'm speaking to the real Mervin in you. I'm not speaking to the stuff that you're doing. I'm speaking to the real you, and I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out, right? And so we need to do that. We need to continue doing that.
Can I inject quickly?
Please. We out of time.
I missed the sign.
I got a sign long time over there. We're not going to look that way.
Full injection.
Okay.
So Brian, I wanted to hear from Brian.
No, one thing I was gonna say in closing is that as men we need to be more sure of ourselves to the point that we can not only wait until somebody approaches us to ask for input, but to even confront those situations and take a hold of it, grab it by the horn, because a lot of young people, a lot of them don't invite wisdom or don't invite counsel or input into their lives. But in love, I always tell my wife, how loving am I if I know I've walked down a road and there's a big hole there, and I see someone else traveling behind me going to that hole, and say, well, that's not my business, that's not my fault. I mean, how loving would that be? So in love, we need to even rebuke and even discipline, but in a multitude of counsel there is wisdom. And if we are truly concerned for this generation, then we must sometimes even step forward in areas that may not be as comfortable or may not be as nice as we would like it to be, to make those wrongs right, that we might see better things coming from the next generation, right? So I just want to encourage fathers to step forward and to grab the bull by the horns, even those cases that don't look, those cases that might not be like, it takes someone like you, because it is kindness also that leads to repentance. So
Amen.
let's do that.
Amen. Thank you so much,
We need
Brian.
a 2-hour show.
I know. And caller, we're sorry that we couldn't answer your call, but we have to wrap up. We have run out of time. It goes by so fast.
So next time, call early, right?
Yes.
I just really wanted to read this text. It says, "Love this show. I have great respect for all of the dads on your show today. They live what they say and have some awesome kids.
That's
Great
great.
job in championing dads, you guys." And then somebody said that, Brian's wife said, "Them guys looking great."
Oh, your makeup, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
All right, we got to go, but before we go, we have to say thanks to our sponsor.
We want to say thank you to Grace Kennedy Belize and to Roots and Honor Records. We appreciate your support, and thank you to, I usually say thank you to Brian's one of the people. Thank you to Cirillo and to Tristan, and thank you, Jason, Brian, Merv, Kerm. Thank you so much for being with us and adding to the discussion today. And thank you to everybody watching, because we couldn't do this without you.
Oh, and guys, there's a father bike ride, father and family bike ride Saturday at the GG Field. Kerm, what time?
3 to 6.
3 to 6. $5 if you want a barbecue. Bring your wife, your picnic, your dog. Well, the dog can't ride, but you can tie in a little basket on the bike. And come and join. It's going to be a fun family event. So if you would like to know more about that, to register, Kerm, what number should they call?
615-7806.
615-7806.
So one whole of Belmopan and surrounding come up in the city and carry that.
Come. Let's celebrate the dads, right?
Celebrate family.
That's right. Okay, we are out of here until next week. Grace Kennedy will be joining us next week. Meet the spouses at the end of the month.
Yes.
All right.
That'll be
Began.
exciting.